Before I start talking about Smile 2, if you guys want to check out my filmography, you definitely can. Links down in the description below. You can check out my whole link tree. Follow me on Instagram, Letterboxd, all that good stuff. Always trying to meet other filmmakers, always trying to meet other collaborators. With that said, let's talk about Smile 2 because this film was nuts. I want to hurry this up because I have one of the new chicken Big Macs. I'm hungry. I can't wait to eat that zombie. I feel really comfortable saying this. Like, I feel really comfortable saying this because beforehand I would be like, yeah, okay, yeah, it was a good movie. I liked it. You know, the first Smile movie I did not really care for. If I'm being completely truthful, I did not care for the first Smile. I just felt like it didn't really affect me like I thought it would, because when it first came out, I kind of heard mixed reactions. Some people said it was really good. Some people said they hated it. Some people said they hated the jump scares. Some people said they liked the jump scares. But for me, the thing that intrigued me was I actually got the ending of it spoiled for me. And I saw a certain thing at the end of the film. I don't want to spoil it if you guys haven't seen any of them. But if you've seen the first one, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, the ending of the film is kind of nuts. That's what really got me very interested to watch it. So whenever I watched it, I was just sort of waiting to get to that moment, but I didn't really get impacted by the film. It didn't really do much for me. Now here comes Smile 2. When I first saw the trailer for Smile 2, again, when it first came out, people were saying it didn't look that great. For some reason, people had issues with it, but for me, whenever I saw it, I knew instantly that it was trying to do something very different, which was something that you have to appreciate it at that point. I mean, it's kind of like the whole Joker and Joker Folie à Deux thing, where it was doing a completely different thing than the first film, even though this is kind of different, and I think this one is going to be well received. But I do appreciate it whenever a sequel does try to go out of its way to do something completely separate from the first film. I just think that that's the smart way to go about it. Now, I will not be getting into any spoilers whatsoever in this video. I won't say anything about the story. I won't say anything about a lot of the characters. I'll keep everything sort of tame, just because I do believe that this is a pretty spoilery movie, which it's more spoilery than I thought it was going to be. But I will say this is one thing that I want to say. It's no spoilers whatsoever. You don't have to click away. But I will say this just because I think even if you've not seen the first Smile film, you should go see this one, because I love the way that it's executed, where I feel like this could technically be the first movie if you wanted it to be. Like, if this was like a cold open where you just watched the opening of this film and then you went on, like if this was just a standalone film, it would have been magnificent. Like, I would have thought it was the craziest thing ever, just because I wouldn't know what was actually going on. But there is that first movie to sort of tie it all in together. But I do think people that's not seen the first film, I don't want to say their experience is going to be necessarily better, but I do think they're going to get a completely different experience than people that have seen that first film, because with that first film, there's certain elements that you're going to expect in the second one. But again, if you go into the second one without knowing the first one, those elements are just heightened a little bit, and that opening is just so good. And that's what I'll start off with, is the opening. The opening is fantastic. I would love to see Parker Flynn, the director, do like a action sort of film or a crime film, because I liked the whole one shot. It wasn't anything too crazy. They didn't do anything too crazy with it, but I do appreciate how that's how it opened up, was with that one shot. And it essentially, and when I say one shot, it's like the whole take. Like, you're watching the guy walk around, like the blocking and everything is all in just one big long take. And I just really appreciate that decision. It's different. It could have went a completely different route, but it didn't. And the opening of the film is, I think, it's the perfect opening. I couldn't think of any other way to start Smile 2. Like, now that I think about it, I mean, whenever I was listening to other people talk about their reactions to Smile 2, I sort of had some ideas in my head. But now that I think about it, it's like, no, there's no other way. Now, the film stars Naomi Scott, and if you're not familiar with who she was actually in the remake of the Aladdin film. I think she's perfect in this film. She plays a pop star named, gotta make sure I'm getting this right, Sky Riley. Okay, good, Sky Riley. And essentially, this traumatic event happened in her past. She's struggling from that, but not only is she struggling from that, something else happens, and then this is sort of where all the smiles come into play. So you're just essentially watching this pop singer go down a downward spiral. That's all you're doing. That's it. The film is extremely simple. Like, this film does not go out of its way to do anything too crazy in terms of story. It's very simple. You're going to get exactly what you got in the first film. But what this film does is you can tell it's got a higher budget. You can tell the production value is definitely there. And this is one of those things where I do agree with it doesn't matter what your budget is, you can still make a great film. I 100% believe that. There's no doubt in my mind, but I do believe that there are certain scenarios where when your budget is higher, I mean, you're obviously going to have a better movie, especially with the production and the cast and the extras. I mean, that's very objective. You know, I mean, a bigger budget can make a bigger movie, but again, you can still make a great movie on a lower budget. But what I'm trying to say with that is Smile 2 is a very simplistic story, but with the budget, it was able to do a lot more than it would have been able to do, say, if it had the same budget as like the first Smile movie, or even something that was, you know, a lot smaller. So I'm definitely not, I'm basically complimenting it, if that makes sense. It is bigger, it's bolder, it does everything times two, just like you would want a sequel to do. It's longer. I do believe the character development in this is way stronger than the first film. Again, I did not really care much for the first film, so this film executed everything perfectly. There's a lot of body horror in this. There's more body horror than I thought it was going to be. It's not on the level of The Substance, but I do believe that in a way it at times became a little bit more impactful for me. But again, I don't want to get into any spoilers because this film does some things you're not going to expect. Also, some of the shots in this film, like, it is very creepy. There's a lot of the blocking, especially in this, is just absolutely phenomenal. You can tell that everybody was firing on all cylinders. The director, the cinematography, sound mixer, the cast, the actors. Like, you can tell that everybody was firing on all cylinders. And I would be very curious to know how much of this film that they shot with natural light, because this film does sort of have, especially when they're doing the outside scenes, which I know, you know, outside scenes, a lot of it would be natural light, but when you're in certain locations, it has this very flat profile to it, which looks like it looks really nice. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it just, there were some scenes I could tell I would figure they were filmed in natural light, but that's just something that I was just kind of looking at, because there's something about a really good shot, natural light shot that looks really good. So it's just something that I just thought about. And overall, at the moment, this again, you guys might think that this is crazy, but I'm just being completely honest. I would not say this if I didn't mean it. This is my favorite film of 2024. This is my favorite film of 2024 so far. I'm not kidding. I'm seriously not. It subverted every expectation that I had. It was completely different than I thought it was going to be. It exceeded all of my expectations. I could not think of one thing to remove out of this film. It was very well made. It was very well crafted. The jump scares in Smile 2, the best way that I can describe them, because I never get scared during jump scares. I never jump. And this film, I jumped like 3 times, and it's been years. I mean, years. I think the last time I ever jumped in a film was probably, I don't know, I might have to say Fear Footage. I might actually have to say Fear Footage. But really like Insidious or something, or The Woman in Black. Like, I mean, it's been a long, long time. But yeah, guys, Smile 2 is worth every single penny. Definitely go see it. Go see it with a crowd. You'll probably have a lot of fun. There were people in my theater that were jumping, and it was kind of a small theater. It was kind of sad, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really hope that this film does meet box office expectations, because I really want a third one, like, bad. Like, I want to see what they would do with the third one. It's going to be interesting. Tonally, the third one, if it follows unless they make it a prequel or something, the third one is going to be nuts. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in already. Again, if you guys want to check out my filmography, you can. My new short film 2 is out, so if you guys want to see something spooky for spooky season, you definitely can do so. But anyway, take it easy, and I'll see you guys next time.